In today's Leeds news, Carragher doesn't see Leeds change, Wilkinson and Bielsa permanent tributes, and Leeds inquire about Hibernian midfielder. Hey folks, welcome to the Leeds View, Tuesday morning, the 9th of December with your Leeds United news. Jer here with a little bit to get stuck into, not a huge amount of stuff, pretty light on the ground, but there's one probably concrete enough inquiry, if not an actual transfer story at this point before the window opens in January to cover off. Also last night we did have the podcast, myself and Jerry McNamee, looking back at a very good 7 days for Leeds United. That's changed the narrative around the club right now and ahead to what is coming up against Brentford, Palace and Sunderland after the African Cup of Nations squads have all been announced, and we have an idea now of who will be missing for the sides that we will be playing against over the Christmas period. Also, just to give you a quick update on the FA Cup, we're not going to cover it as a story because most will have seen it. Leeds will be away to Derby County in the next round of the FA Cup. Bit of history there between the two sides. Spygate revisited, but very much a return to a championship-y style game for Leeds United. But we'll get stuck into the news today. I won't keep you too long. We'll start off with Pundit's conversations around Leeds United's turnaround. The atmosphere around Leeds and Ellen Road right now is very positive, and rightfully so after a very encouraging 7 days for the club. And now pundits who have had very little to say about Leeds United in the past couple of months have all started to give their opinions on the potential Leeds United turnaround. Chris Sutton was speaking, and he believes that Daniel Farke has turned things around and has enough to keep Leeds United in the Premier League this season. But fellow pundit Jamie Carragher has his doubts about this. Carragher concedes that Leeds' tactical shift against Liverpool helped them in that game and to shift the balance of that match, and gave credit to Dominic Calvert-Lewin's impact on the game and Daniel Farke's tactical shift, but doesn't believe that the Leeds players are good enough to survive in the Premier League this season. Speaking yesterday after the game at the weekend, Jamie Carragher had the following to say. Yes, brilliant management, but going to a 3-5-2 doesn't mean all of Leeds' problems are finished. They're going to lose games. They are going to find it difficult. They do not have the quality of other teams. Daniel Farke made changes against Liverpool, and that saw a real impact. Calvert-Lewin has made a huge impact over the last week, and Ellen Road was absolutely bouncing at 2-1 when they equalised. Every Leeds fan knows that we're going to lose probably more games this season than we're going to win. Nobody's delusional enough to think that Leeds are going to fly up the table and start competing for Europe no matter what gets said. But we also know that we've given ourselves a very strong fighting chance to stay in the Premier League this season. We've seen the glimpse that we know what Leeds can now do in certain types of matches, and we might even upset some sides along the way this season. Leeds maybe will need 9 to 10 wins and 10 or so draws to stay in the division this year, and that's about 5 more wins and 7 more draws in the remaining 23 games, and that could be enough to keep Leeds up and help to establish us moving forward as a Premier League club. And there's a lot of sides that are down there around the bottom half with us that we have to play at Ellen Road, and that will be massively important to making sure Leeds can stay in the Premier League this season. And Carragher in this interview just came across to me personally as a little bit salty. You can tell me if you disagree with that, but yeah, I suppose he's probably too close to what's going on at Liverpool right now to give an objective opinion on this without being a little bit emotional after a disappointing night for them and the whole saga that's kicked off with Mo Salah now as well. But yeah, interesting one, but it's a great start for Leeds. We know that it's a building block, and we'll see where we can go from there. Let's move on. Let's talk about the permanent tributes to Howard Wilkinson and Marcelo Bielsa. Yesterday, the Wilco 92 campaign held a lunch with Howard Wilkinson to raise funds for a permanent statue tribute to the Leeds League winning manager. The goal is to raise $140,000 to achieve this, and there were plenty of ex-Leeds United players and Leeds legends floating around the lunch, all speaking very highly of Howard Wilkinson and his impact on the game in England. People like Mel Sterling, Emery Varady, Nigel Martin, Tony DeRigo, Lucas Radebe, John Newsom all had touching things to say about Howard Wilkinson. But Leeds United themselves have now also finally announced a permanent tribute to Howard Wilkinson and Marcelo Bielsa for their achievements as Leeds United managers, with commemorative walls by the East Stand reception, and a club statement on this read as follows. This special area features a marble replica of the bucket, the very one he formerly sat on while masterminding a return to the Premier League, as well as a stone silhouette capturing one of his most iconic images, a celebration of football purity, innovation and unforgettable nights under the Ellen Road lights. Howard's Way pays tribute to the man who led us to becoming the champions of England. A bespoke marble seat will stand proudly etched with his achievements alongside a stone silhouette of Howard Wilkinson lifting the First Division trophy, a symbol of glory, grit, and Leeds United pride. It's great to see the club finally recognising the managers that have been so successful for the club and a massive part of Leeds United's history. It's probably a little bit long overdue for Howard Wilkinson specifically, but you do get the feeling, and it kind of sits with me a little bit, 140,000 isn't a huge amount of money if the club decided they wanted to donate that money to try and speed up the process and get that statue and a long-lasting tribute to Howard Wilkinson, which he absolutely deserves for what he has brought to Leeds. Thorpe Arch wouldn't be Thorpe Arch without Howard Wilkinson, the current club badge. Also, what he's done for England with St George's Park, as well as just Leeds and the whole youth development at the club as well. So, for me personally, I just think put your hand in your pocket, give them the 140,000, let's get this statue built for Howard Wilkinson so he gets to see it himself while he is still with us. He's 82 years of age now, and it would be a fantastic thing for him to see that and also get it done and dusted as soon as possible if they could do that. But yeah, great to see these. You can get a stone also if you want to have your name on that wall as well. You can get a stone. They're available on the Leeds United website, so if you want to get your name etched permanently, or at least until they knock that stand down in the future and rebuild it, you can get that over at leedsunited.com. Let's move on to the final story of today, and this is a transfer story that has a bit of substance to it this time. Over the last couple of days, there's been a few stories starting to come out from far more credible sources than normal, and it really is giving the impression that Leeds United are about to make some moves in the January transfer window, according to multiple publications on this one, like the Yorkshire Evening Post, Leeds Live, the Daily Mail, and the Edinburgh Evening News. They all say that Leeds United have made an inquiry for Hibernian midfielder Josh Mulligan. Mulligan's style of play has been linked to that of John McGinn. He's described as a tenacious, disrupting midfielder, and probably something Leeds could do with another one of. Outanack is probably Leeds' busiest midfielder and definitely adds energy to that side, but when he's not in that side, it does definitely lack a little bit of pace and a little bit of forward momentum, and Josh Mulligan could be a similar type of player to help Leeds have more than one option in that position. This season so far, he has started 15 games in the league for Hibernian, but he's featured in all 22 of their games across all competitions. He scored 2 goals and he's also added 3 assists in the process. The Edinburgh Evening News and the Daily Mail reported that Leeds United and Nottingham Forest are both said to have made initial inquiries regarding the 23-year-old midfielder. Mulligan recently received his first call-up to the Scottish national side as well, and does hope to be part of their World Cup squad at the end of the year. A move to the Premier League could definitely bolster that as well, assuming he moves to England and gets plenty of game time, which is not a guarantee when you move down from Scotland. Mulligan's contract at Hibernian does run until 2029, but the Daily Mail say that Hibs would be vulnerable to a suitable offer due to financial situation at the club. They're not massively in trouble, but they don't have huge amounts of money either. And the report says that Leeds are giving serious consideration to making January moves with a creative winger, another position that is said to be high on Leeds' wish list. Reports and rumours over the last couple of days suggest that Leeds United are looking at several positions. It looks like another midfielder, especially if they continue with this 3-5-2 as a base formation. A creative right-sided player is still something Daniel Farke wants to add after missing out on it by Facundo Buenanotte and Harry Wilson in the summer, and he said he still wants to get one of those done. There is also a huge amount of speculation around Leeds potentially adding a top-class striker to what they've already got up front, and that might just again be to try and facilitate the 2-striker system if they want to move forward with that. We saw with Lucas Mecha being out that no Okafor was utilised in that, probably not as effective as Lucas Mecha has been, although he was up against a very good Liverpool side at the same time. But yeah, maybe adding another one there, it will raise question marks around what Leeds do with other strikers like Joe Piroux, Harry Gray. There's a lot of reports that Harry Gray could go out on loan this January as well to get some much needed first team adult side game minutes in the Championship to help his development, which wouldn't be a bad one if he's not going to play for Leeds United's first team, which it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. And there is said to be interest from sides like Ipswich and a few others in the Championship around Joel Piroux as well. So it could end up being a busy in and out January, which would be very different to what we've been used to over the last couple of seasons. Leeds have only made one signing in their last 2 January transfer windows, and that was Connor Roberts at the very end of the first January transfer window that the 49ers oversaw. And So as good as he was for us, didn't play a huge amount of minutes either. So this could be the first time Leeds will have to dip in. They don't want to sit on their hands. West Ham United, who are just below us at the moment, are said to be ready to spend very big in the January market as well. So Leeds will need to make sure that they're at least adding to strengthen positions, or at least fill the gaps that they didn't fill in the summer. Give me a Nedved Spurs chance shape number 810 as well. I would love to see that. The guy's on 19 G&A in 17 games this season at Krasnodar, but it's all gone very quiet on Spirit Chance, so it doesn't look like that one's going to happen either. But you never know. I can dream, can't I? Anyway, folks, that'll be it for me today. You can check out the podcast last night with myself and Jerry on YouTube, or you can go over to the audio platforms and you can get it there as well. Outside that, I'm back tomorrow morning for more Leeds news. I'll see you then. Enjoy the rest of your day. See ya. Bye.